Hello. Hi, Tara.
Hey,
How's it going?
not bad.
Oh my God, it's such a warm day today.
Santa Fe?
Oh, it's getting up to 100.
Yeah, well, there's a reason I like living close to the Pacific Ocean. All that nice cold water coming down from the Arctic.
I know it is nice to live on the coast, but maybe one day I'll make it back to California. I'm not rushing back though.
I hear you.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to jump off at 12:30. Hopefully
No
that's
problem. I think last time we went through the slide deck in about 30 minutes, so you're more than welcome to jump off after your part is over, and we can even start with that part too.
yeah. I need to carve out some time to work on this. I've got too many things going on. I've realized.
Uh-oh. Well, let us, if you need to hand off the landscape to somebody in the community.
Well, I mean, honestly, Mark is doing all of the work that's been done up to this point. Mark has been doing. I wanted to put together a PR for the language changes on the contribution page. I just need to sit down and do it, and then maybe help build out a little bit more of a roadmap for the next steps.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a ton of work. I just need to sit
You
down
just,
and do.
yeah, you just need 30 minutes to just bang it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and work is nuts, and it's not helping.
Well, the good thing is you're not on a tight deadline for that. We won't pressure you, Tara. I promise.
No, it's all the pressure is self-inflicted.
Hello.
Hey everybody. Hey Jackie.
Hello.
Is anyone else having a massive heat wave where they are?
It is so hot. I was telling Tara too. I was just like, it's so hot here.
Hey Ravi.
Hey, Tracy.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's really hot outside here too, but I'm spoiled. I live in a new construction, so we have 3 air conditioning units, one per floor. So it's the constant 72 degrees no matter what part of the house I go to.
It's good. My aircon is not keeping up.
I get a bill for it. I certainly get a huge Georgia Power bill for it, but it's comfortable.
Yeah, I have a swamp cooler. So I'm suffering.
I mean, it does get hot where I am today. It's going to be 85, which is not unreasonable for this time of year, but my office is in the basement. So no matter how hot it gets, in the basement, it never gets above maybe 68.
Oh, that's nice.
Then I go upstairs and it's 30 degrees warmer. But
That's nice and cool down there.
Yeah.
Of course, in the winter, it's freezing. So trade-offs.
I think I'd rather be cold than hot though.
Yeah, cold you can do more. You can put more clothes on.
You have hot chocolate. You can
have the dog come sit on your toes.
Yeah, they love that. Yeah.
But being too hot, that's harder. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Hey, Sam. No, no problem. I think folks are still rolling in. We'll give them 2 more minutes.
Lovely. I actually have another call at 30 minutes at the top of the hour, so I'm going to have to disengage, but I wanted to show up as long as I could.
No, thank you. I think yesterday we got this presentation done in about 30 minutes. So we had about 30 extra minutes of discussion. So
perfect.
Yeah. We should do all right.
So I recognize Tara because I've seen her speak, but I don't know her. Hi.
Hello. Oh God, you've seen me speak. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. Don't say that at all. You were at DevOps World. You blew it away. It was wonderful.
Were you in San Francisco or Lisbon?
Yes.
Oh, right on. Oh, see,
Yeah.
you saw the selfie.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah, it was very cool. I took a picture of you, actually, if you remember.
Oh, that's right. You're the guy who posted on Twitter.
I'm
That's
the guy.
right.
Yeah, I'm the guy. So that's right. And then Robbie, I'm not sure that I know we've met either.
Yeah, I don't believe we met in person either, Sam. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
I got COVID tested today, you guys.
Is it as bad as it sounds?
How's
Oh,
your
it's
nose?
horrible. It is
They
so
stick it right.
it was like it's thin, and so it goes in and then they have to twist it. And I cried because it hurt so bad. And I was holding on to the roof of the car because I was just like, oh
Ouch.
my God, I just been violated in the worst way possible.
Yeah. Ooh.
I mean, we're pretty sure it's negative. We're just doing it as a precaution, but I was just like, oh my God, this is horrible. So if you can avoid it, wear your mask.
My parents go every 3 weeks. I don't know why they get tested so much. It freaks me out. Like they like their brain being tickled by a Q-tip. I don't understand.
See, that's what I said too. It's like having your brain scratched.
It
Yeah.
is not a tickle at all. It
Yeah,
is
see, I
far
just
from a
avoid
tickle.
people pretty much.
I
That's easier.
continue to do that as well. March was not a big demarcation point for me. It was not a huge change.
Okay, so we're at 12:35. I think we've
Yeah,
got
let's do this
a
thing.
small group today, which is nice and intimate. So I'm okay with that. Okay, I know Tara, you said you had to go, so I'm just gonna jump straight into the landscape for you.
Yeah, and this will be super quick. The main thing is we recognized, and I forget who it was, some member or contributor was like, hey, we've got stuff on the landscape that's in violation of the documented policy around what that's supposed to look like. This has led to kind of a larger discussion around the landscape that we've kicked off. I and Marky, one of our ambassadors, have started to take a look at this. There's a couple of things that we're trying to do. Here, if you go to the next slide there. So the key thing is to, one, we've got language in there that from the battle days when we were first setting this stuff up in the contributors for the landscape around, need to be a GitHub repository with a certain number of stars and some other things that are in there. We don't actually feel that that's actually probably the direction that we want to go. We want to open it up to open source and proprietary. Certainly open source is preferable. We are an open source organization, but the fact of the matter is that the CI/CD world involves a mixture of both in pretty much all use cases, I think, that we care to name. So we want to be a little bit more thoughtful about that. Also, the original system was a little bit too laissez-faire as it was. I mean, Tracy did a great job setting all that stuff up. Thank you. But it also, I think it was we were not curating it as much as we should have been. So in general, just across the board, kind of reviewing, rethinking how we want to approach this. I hopefully will have a PR on language updates around contributor guidelines within the next week or so. I was just bemoaning my inability to find 30 minutes to spend to work on that. Also want to improve some of the supporting automation infrastructure around the contributions and how they get handled. In general, just make it, once we decide on that final policy, make it super easy to adhere to it. Or super hard to not adhere to it, however you want to look at that. We've got a bunch of preliminary tracking bugs in the landscape repo for review. If anybody's interested, please feel free to add your own thoughts there. There's also a landscape channel in the CDF Slack. Feel free to jump on there as well. I do check it at least once a day. So if you want to just drop me a note in there, please feel free. Beyond that, I don't know that there's much else to talk about there unless anybody has any questions.
Yeah, you said that so go back up to the landscape. What about should we have not have put commercial products? It's only supposed to be open source. Is that what you said?
So according to the documented guidelines in the repo itself, in the README, it says no.
Yeah,
So
the guidelines don't
right.
match what we did.
yeah, so
Yeah, well,
yeah. So,
let me just say the guidelines for CNCF don't match what they're doing.
yeah. So someone just came in with like, hey, I'm a little confused as to what the right thing to do here is. So it's really just kind of
That's
reconciling.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I suspect
'cause
there
I
was some
pulled that
copy
right-
pasta going on,
I
So-
pulled that directly from the CNCF, and I'm looking at their landscape, and they have plenty of commercial products
Yep.
Yeah.
on their
Well,
landscape.
their guidelines have
That's
updated because
weird.
we went and looked at them,
Ah.
and they changed it. Or so anyway, we're more
Well-
consistent, and we're sticking with what they're doing as well.
So anyway, yeah. So we'll just be reconciling all that up, cleaning it up, hopefully making it a little easier.
I
Oh.
see. So Steve Taylor, who's listening behind me, said that he thought that the open source ones were supposed to be in a different color box or highlighted in a different way.
There's a filter on the left. You can't see it in this screenshot, but you can pick from a drop down and only highlight.
I would love to be able to say that, ideally our landscape will never get to the level of insanity that the CNCF landscape is. So we wouldn't have to, rely on filters and whatnot. But
Yeah,
anyway,
so if you
Well, it
click
looks really clean.
license.
I'd love to be able to have a goal to see an open source tool in each of the boxes, right?
certainly that would be an interesting goal. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
and the other thing that we talked about, for example, is some kind of additional badging or brand or UI element that that could be guidance from the interoperability SIG, for example. It's like, here's a conform to the interoperability standard and be able to flag that as well. These are all just ideas that we're kicking around here, but ideally max information for people who are looking for help with some of their solutions as far as a
And
technology standpoint.
I love that you put the messaging in there. I actually highlighted that in our my last talk I did on this, that you added that square, the messaging square. It doesn't look like all of our members have been added to a square though.
No,
yeah, Puppet's there, but Puppet's still in traditional. For all of you members, please look at this and make sure that you are in the right place. Because when I originally did it, that's been a year ago. So for example, I know Puppet's got some new stuff that they're offering. You need to make sure you're represented in the right place. We did our best, but that may be wrong.
yeah, and I think that a little more outreach on this on a, maybe on a quarterly basis to review will be something that we need to do. We just,
And you don't have to be a member to be in one of these either.
Correct.
It's not, the membership is down here on the right-hand side. So, we should be looking at reaching out and trying to get other, in the security area, that should be a really big growing spot, right? So just a thought.
Hey,
Yeah.
so I have a quick question. Apologies if this is just not understanding how this is set up. So as an example, we also do have a security product from JFrog called X-Ray, but we're only listed in the library management category. Is there a way to address that in the landscape, or how would we?
So that's another topic. In the CNCF world, apparently people were really kind of gaming the system and trying to get their logos in as many of the sections as possible. And because of the volume of that, they started putting in policies around one corporate logo per. But to your point, there's also recognizing that plenty of companies have products that span. And so trying to figure out what the right guidelines are. I mean, the gaming was to the point of pulling stuff out on a feature level, not even a product level. So I think what we want to do is look at some of the companies who have multiple products, make sure that we understand a good policy that will make it very clear when you can add a logo to a section versus not, so that we can have that guidance. But to me, if they're actual distinct products, it doesn't seem unreasonable that you would, again, coming in as someone who doesn't have a lot of knowledge, you want to be able to say, here are the choices that I have. Right. And not have to force people to do a lot of extra work to figure out, actually, there's all these other things that aren't exposed in the landscape in a useful way. We talked about potentially even, different types of organization around the landscape to try and lift some of these sort of cross-functional areas up. It's challenging. Like the whole infographics thing is tough.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think if we take it from an audience perspective, what people want to get out of the landscape in terms of information, that provides the best experience rather than thinking about it purely from kind of what information we want to put in.
Yeah, and Stephen, to that point, when I was first working on this, I had added I think I called it a DevOps tooling. So if you have more than one tool, you could have put your logo in that. And somehow that got nixed across along the way. So that may be one way to solve it, that we put, you know, a category that says these are companies that are spanning more than one functional area. I don't know, but just something to think about.
I think
think
it
there
makes
was-
sense.
Oh, sorry, Tracy.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the discussion we had with the ambassadors, we had an open session to hack on it. Like lots of people were saying, it would make sense if you could qualify it. So, you know, if you could say it's JFrog X-ray versus JFrog, you know, just distinguish the paths so people can follow up, and, you know, like not having GitLab in version control because it's only in pipeline orchestration didn't make sense to a lot of people. So I think we do
Right.
need to figure that out. And it applies to open source projects. I'm seeing more qualify them as selves as, you know, CI or CD or feature flags as things. So we should be able to just evolve as the ecosystem is evolving.
It is an important piece of our puzzle, though. This is something I've been passionate about since the very beginning, because it really defines the CD Foundation as more than just the pipeline orchestration. And these are the companies that should be in these boxes are our potential members. They're the ones that we really want to be reaching out to and providing benefits to and having discussions about the entire ecosystem. So this is a very important topic, and I hope we keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Well, if I could add something, I speak with lots of analysts and they're having the same problems, right? A lot of the categories that they've defined are collapsing in on themselves as people move into adjacencies, as different organizations move into adjacent spaces. And so it's not an easy problem to solve for anyone. So you guys we're in good company.
If it was easy, someone would have figured it out already.
All right. But it does look good. It's looking really great.
I had two more things, if I could comment on just some things to share from folks I've been talking to. So we had one nice story from one of the ambassadors who said, actually, they looked at the landscape and they weren't aware of the events and the Eiffel project. And when they saw that, they were like, oh, this is useful. This is something we were going to implement. And now they're looking specifically at that project. So I thought that was a nice win of it actually being useful for discovery. And then the other side was just some feedback where some folks were asking about, you know, do we want to show some things on managed services versus SaaS? And also someone pointed out that we don't actually have a category for CD, like strict kind of continuous delivery. And they felt, you know, should that be something in itself? Is it the whole landscape? And so just how do we represent that as a general category?
Schools of thought. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think the problem is like CD encompasses so much, you know, so it's like there's a lot of like pillars of it. A pure CD tool will touch, you know, multiple of the pillars, the nature of the beast.
Yes, and I think you know, trying to define CD as a tool is it really is a process. It's not a tool.
Yeah, so then the tools are process enablers, you know, but that can encompass, you know, of so many different varieties of things. Anyway, so like I said, ongoing discussions. I suspect we'll be iterating on this forever, but, you know, hopefully we can get at least some interesting updates, new things to argue about.
Yes, that's great.
Okay.
All
Great.
right. Thanks,
Any-
everybody. I gotta
Thank
jump
you,
off now.
Tara. Anything else from anyone else before I jump into CDCon and events? Okay. So we are going to be sponsoring a Skill Up Day on July 16th. We are looking for volunteers to help us staff the virtual booth. The link in the slide will take you to my spreadsheet, and we usually just ask folks to donate an hour of their time. We also, if you have documentation, please send it to me. I can upload it and then make it available for folks to download. The other event that's coming up, is DevOps World. CDF is going to be sponsoring a track. So since CD Summit Europe was canceled, we've asked all of those speakers if they'd like to roll over their talk into our track. Most of them, I think a good majority already signed up, and now we're opening this up to our members and to our ambassadors. So if you're interested in volunteering and putting together a talk for the CDF track for DevOps World, I've got a sign up sheet here. I'm giving folks till August 10th, and then we'll start getting organized and setting up people as speakers. And then we're also going to be having a booth. So again, asking folks to donate an hour of their time, and we've got a sign up sheet here as well. And we're giving folks till the 28th for that. We're making actually really good progress on CDCon. I think we finalized a proposed budget that is going to get rolled up to the governing board. And then also after that gets approved, I think we'll be able to open registration. Right now, we're only accepting papers, and that is the deadline is coming up on the 10th, so in 2 days. If you have a talk you want to propose, please submit that by end of day Friday.
Can we just go back for that for a minute?
Yeah.
We are going to be looking for sponsorships for this. We had a discussion yesterday on it, and I believe we may be charging maybe $20 or $25 per person, but that may be a donation. So we're not going to be, the attendees will not be a revenue stream. The budget is about 110K. And so we're going to be looking for at least 2 diamond sponsors at 25K each. Those diamond sponsors will get the registration list of everybody who attends, and we're shooting for about 1,000 people. So if your company is interested in sponsoring, please reach out to myself or to Tracy Miranda or to Jacqueline and let us know, because we really would like to start pushing these sponsorships sooner than later. And there'll be a end user sponsorship too, so that will be fun. So if you have customers that may want to showcase themselves as a thought leaders in pipeline management and want to have a booth at this virtual show, there will be a end user offering.
Yes.
Ostensibly, that's to help get folks who want to maybe recruit or that sort of a thing.
Recruit. I mean, there's many companies that are really looking, you know, kind of like Netflix. We think of Netflix here as a technology company, but they're really an entertainment company. Capital One's another good example of a bank that has made themselves really be seen as a technology leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's other companies who want to do the same. And this area, we really want to start getting a conversation going about how our end users are building out their pipelines. As we all know, there's so many different variations in being able to do it. And being able to have that discussion is a good way to start. So
Yep.
we're hoping that we can get some end users to show up.
Great.
Thank you, Tracy. And then also still we're working towards CDCon 2021 in person, which will be in San Diego. This is really right now our event roadmap. It's still a work in progress because we sometimes get event proposals that we'll review on ad hoc basis. So Skill Up Days coming up, DevOps World in September, and then CDCon in October. Spinnaker Summit they're working to get that planned by end of October, and that will also be a virtual event. And then KubeCon, Cloud Native Con, will only have a booth presence there. And then CD Summit Europe and North America have been canceled for 2020. And then project graduations.
Shall I take this one, Jackie?
Yeah.
Okay, so as part of the CDF projects, there's a technical oversight committee which oversees like the life cycle of each project. And the ultimate stage is to be a graduated project, which means you must meet a specific criteria. And the whole idea behind that criteria is that it gives confidence in the industry that this graduated project is well governed, It's healthy. It follows open source best practices around security, triaging of issues, sustainability. So some of the examples of the criteria are that the project has a code of conduct, it's got contributors from more than one company, it's got a set of adopters that it can point to as people using the platform. So all the CDF projects will aspire to graduate and kind of move through that process. And we're looking forward to graduating Jenkins as the first one going through that process, followed by Spinnaker and Tecton, who have both announced their intent to graduate. So Jenkins project graduation, the Jenkins community are looking to present how they've met the criteria at the 27th July meeting. And then the top members will vote. And then in anticipation of Jenkins meeting all the criteria, which I think it pretty much already has, then we'll be doing some special activities around that. So we'll be having a special edition Jenkins newsletter. There's some fun campaigns the Jenkins community has that we're going to be pushing out, and also doing a press release just to talk about Jenkins, the new public roadmap. I think the community is looking at doing things with projects like Tecton. So just talking about the future of the project. So one thing we are looking for is if you are Jenkins users or contributors and you'd be interested in being featured in the press release or in the newsletter, please let us know. We'd love to get our members featured in that, or even if you're interested in showing up to do a webinar on any Jenkins related topic. I think for the month of August, that will be a big theme. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we'll have Jenkins stickers with the graduation cap, and I know a lot of the community members are already excited about it. So, and I think that will be a nice way just to kick off some of the benefits CDF brings to the projects that are part of the foundation. So, any comments or questions?
No, I'm just really excited to see that we have, we're talking about projects being pushed through the process. It's kind of cool. It's great.
Yeah. And I know the Spinnaker folks are already looking at, they're working through the checklist, and they want to follow on closely from Jenkins and graduate.
Great. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, so our Twitch TV program is just recently launched. That is actually an idea that's being driven by our ambassador, Adam, who's from IBM, and two of his colleagues. So he's going to be giving us I think also like a recap of how the first session went. I know they did a dry run last week, but the intent is to do a live coding over Twitch. Usually Twitch is used as a platform by folks who play video games to stream themselves playing video games and teach folks, I don't know, fun stuff, fun tricks, I don't know, whatever video gamers do.
How to kill the other players or whatever.
Yeah. You know, so they're going to be doing a code and talk session on a weekly basis. And they're going to be focused around the projects, the incubating projects. So if you have any ideas, please reach out to Adam, Dewan, or JJ from our member company, IBM. They're running this program. I hope to have a better update and have Adam speak to this next time too.
Jackie, I got a sneak preview of
oh, how did it go?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. So they have three of them sort of running through a specific path of like installing Tecton, talking about the catalog, and just tackling a very specific use case.
Yeah.
So yeah,
very cool.
They had some nice rapport, and it's amazing how useful it is to cut through all the noise of the documentation and the web page and have someone focus you on a very specific sort of guided journey through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they kept it fun. So yeah, pretty excited to see
them
do that live.
Very cool. I hope we could get some stats on like how many people showed up. I don't know. I know that was a closed
challenge. Door one. So I think.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So the podcast, we've are about 2 months in now. We've published 9 episodes, and we just passed 1,500 downloads. So we're actually at 1,663 as of the 6th of July. In the last 30 days, we had 800 downloads. And so an average total of downloads, if you decide to do a podcast episode through us, is 272 over a 3-month period. And then I think this is Tracy Reagan's favorite slide. She's still leading all-time plays with 410. So feel free to try to knock her down her throne. But yeah, this is how each of the episodes are doing. So I'm very excited. We've got our next 2 episodes also scheduled. It's with Marky Jackson. He's going to be doing one on the Spinnaker community and the project graduation. And then also Alex Jones from American Express is going to be doing an episode on leveraging continuous delivery to improve developer experience. So if you have an idea, we've got a form, schedule your recording time. If you need more info, check out our landing page. And if you missed an episode, this link takes you back to our archive. Also webinars. We hosted 4 webinars in the past month. What I've noticed, one of the key learnings that I've noticed is that we get more registrants when we get help from the speaker to help promote. But overall, I think that for, sticking a stake in the ground, we started out pretty well. So yeah, here's the number of total registrants, a link to the on-demand YouTube video, and then currently, as of July 6th, how many views we had. Upcoming webinars, we've got Intro to DevSecOps by Steven. He's a CDF ambassador from Booz Allen Hamilton, and then the Culture Factor with Isaac Mosqueda from Armory. Again, some links to help you if you'd like to contribute to the webinar program. Again, form, scheduling your webinar date, all of that is here. And blogs, and if anyone has questions, please interrupt me at any time. Blogs, I think we did about over 10. The majority of our blogs in June were introducing our ambassadors. So there's some great reads here if you'd like to get to know some our ambassadors a little bit more. Those were some fun reads. And this is always a great way to establish yourself as a thought leader. So we have a form as well, so submit a form and we'll review. Roxanne is our editor, so she's now reviewing all the blogs and managing the newsletter. In the first half of the year, we actually published over 95 blogs through the channel. So I thought that was something that was very exciting. And also if you have a release or you need media pitching through the CD Foundation, this is also some helpful information on how to get a hold of Jessie, who is our PR person. Jumping into the newsletter, the July edition just went out on the 6th as well, but this is June's performance. I think that honestly, Roxanne has been such a great addition to the team. She's done a really great job with our newsletter, and she's really turned it around. So just some also overall stats on how we've been trending with our subscribers on the newsletter trend and the unique opens per month. Upcoming publishing schedule. So July was focused around security. August is going to be focused all around Jenkins, since we're trying to meet that deadline of graduating the project. And then September and the rest of the months, we'll work on finalizing those themes and then roll them out to folks. October will probably be Spinnaker, since we're trying to graduate Spinnaker by then. And then again, some newsletter links on how to submit content and review the guidelines, all those key links for you.
Becky,
and then,
just going to add, like, if folks haven't had a chance to check out the newsletter, there were some really strong articles on DevSecOps and all kinds of different angles. So yeah, there's very good articles, and Roxanne's even going to push them out to some publications because I think there'll be some interest, just principles of cloud native security and, what is DevSecOps. So yeah, well worth the read.
Awesome. Yeah, she's doing a really great job. And then ambassador program, just a quick update. We've got 47 that are confirmed ambassadors, and we're still working through over 20 pending applications. I'll be sending out some communication to folks because we're still finalizing just how we want to move forward in accepting it. I've pushed off basically the program logistics to a small group of the ambassadors. So we're working on putting a GitHub repo together. We're drafting a charter because we're also thinking of implementing a chair for the ambassador program. So we just need to get basically all the infrastructure in place and then start building on that. So we're putting kind of a hold on admitting any new ambassadors right now until we get all of that squared away and get feedback from the community. Also social media, some highlights. Twitter, we grew in new followers 4% from May to June, and our impressions grew 38%. I think it's, back again to something I had said earlier, content. We've been able to get into a good rhythm and flow now of producing more and some really valuable and good rich content. And that's really starting to help turn our social media channels around as well. LinkedIn last month in June grew, 96% in new followership. So now we are beyond the 1,000 follower threshold. And yeah, just some more key performance metrics on the podcast. And that's really it for this month and updates. Okay. And we can open it up for discussion too.
So I just want to make sure that does everybody know about the ambassador program? Jackie sort of stealthily pulled that together. It started growing, and I don't know if, if member companies can have ambassadors. Yeah. So you should be thinking about it if you, are interested in having somebody from your organization.
Yeah, I've looked at really kind of didn't, but yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a good.
One question for you guys. I know you mentioned that Twitch TV. Can you send on the link to it if you've got some?
Yes, I will share. I'll send an email out to the members and with the deck.
So yeah, I think that sort of our general concern has been that members aren't necessarily taking advantage of all the benefits that are out there. Over the course of the first year, we didn't have a lot of member benefits because we didn't have somebody managing them. But now we have the podcasts and the webinars, and we're doing lots of kind of or joint virtual events with like DevOps Institute. We did JFrog. We're going to be doing DevOps World. So those are all good ways to get involved, and they're sort of, I think they're important benefits to take advantage of. And the ambassador program is one of those, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I work with Fidelity. We're pretty interested in that stuff at the moment. We're interested in kind of primarily actually just from a kind of talent attraction perspective.
Mm-hmm. And if anybody has any other ideas about what kind of member benefits would be useful, please let us know. We're constantly trying to think of ways to help get your brand out as part of the CD Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sending out the materials now. Yeah, Jimmy, if I can always jump on a call with you if you need just a demo of how to submit our forms, if you want to contribute to the podcast or a webinar, any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's just finding the time, to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah, and don't forget to, apply to be a speaker at CDCon.
Yeah.
All of
so
our
I'm
members
in the
should
middle
be
of submitting something now.
good.
Good. Okay, great. Yeah, if there's any questions, please reach out to me. And if not, that concludes our meeting for today.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.